Very good afternoon to you. Welcome along to part 2 of Herd Companion. My name is Kath Smith and I shall be doing today's presentation along with the other set, so there's 3 more to follow after today. Just thought I'd switch the webcam on very briefly just to say hello and welcome along, so you can put a face to a name and a voice really. So I shall stop that pretty much straight away. There we go. So if you haven't attended before, welcome along. Very pleased to see you. The numbers are still rolling in, which is lovely. Tried to start on time anyway, because I know some of you have been logged in for a little while. It's always good with these if you can log in a few minutes before, just to allow your computer to connect properly, and then we can start off on time. So a few bits of webinar information before we start. So I always do this, so apologies if you've seen it a million times, but just to explain, then you can ask a question or write a question into your control panel on the right hand side at any time during the presentation. We do leave these to the end and then we will certainly come to them, and my colleague Claire will help me out with that in a second. Or rather than typing in a great long piece, you can raise your hand. So we have a hand button, just press that again anytime you like when you're ready, and then we can come to you and even open up the phone line. You can ask your question directly, so that's no problem at all. And also just to check, some people do have trouble and we haven't quite sussed it out, but generally speaking you should be able to hear me. Just check that your computer audio is set, or if you've dialed in it'll be phone call, and hopefully you can all hear me loud and clear, so that's marvellous. Right, without further ado, let's go and have a look at Herd Companion. Now, today I did have a few topics. I'm going to concentrate on a few in particular, so we may not get to every single topic that I wanted to do. The one I may leave till later is the cell count analysis side, simply because where we are at the minute with the situation, there's a few key areas that I think are more important, such as the data entry, in order to get your data into NMR as much as possible if recordings are restricted slightly, and also the dry cow list. Again, with the current situation where you might want some more information on drying cows off early or looking at other parameters for that. So as we go through, I'll see how we go for time, but I'm going to keep to the normal time constraints and cover those bits first. Okay, so with kind permission of Hartpury College, we have their data today, and I've logged in as them specifically because we have the data entry capabilities. At any time on Herd Companion, you can obviously log into your own herd and do whatever you need to do there. If you want to have a look at the demo herd, there's a little demo button at the top of the Herd Companion page. By all means, have a browse. That is Hartpury College data as well. And you'll see, though, that their data entry is greyed out because obviously it's a live herd. But for purposes of today, just to show you, I've got the actual login for them so I can demonstrate this to a certain effect. So with the data entry, this can be done at any time. This is relatively new, or within the last few years, where you can put data straight into your recording information, into your cow database then, and it means that you don't have to wait for a recording. So this can be done every day, every week, as frequently as you like, and the data then goes straight into Herd Companion, updates all the relevant action lists, and any information then it's in real time. It's also beneficial because any third party is receiving your data. So welcome along today if you are a third party, as in a vet or a consultant. It's equally applicable to you, because if the farmer enters the data straight into here, then you will also receive that immediately in real time through your data downloads into other software. So it's a really good tool, and particularly as in a situation where we are in lockdown, if you haven't got access to your recording in the normal way, this might well be an option for you to use. So we're in the daily event entry page. I'll just show you a couple of examples. So here are all the cow numbers. You just find the cow you're looking for or type it in. You've got the date when that event occurred, so we can go back a little bit in the calendar if you need to. And then we've got our event. So it's really simple, and you can see these are in chronological order for a cow calendar if you like. So we've got calving at the top, we've got heat, we've got services, your PDs, and various other bits and pieces. Just to pick out a few in particular, we have got things like mastitis, which will then identify which quarter for you. So very straightforward there. For lameness, very similar indeed. We can actually identify which foot and also the detail of that lameness case. So for example, I can specify digital dermatitis in the front left. And then you can be foot specific as well, and actually have different lameness types for different feet as well. Okay, now normally what you would do is add event as you go. I don't want to add too many of these. I'm conscious it's a live herd, but I can get so far without actually confirming the events. So the real one I'm going to put in is a service. So let's serve cow 22. We then go to select bull. And for your herd, this will be specific to your herd. The most commonly used bulls, up to 20 of them that you use, will show in this table. You can see it's limited to 10 per screen. You can alter that and show the whole lot if you want to, or you can actually search for a bull even if it's not on the list. You can find it there. If it's a brand new bull you haven't used before, we've got the NMR search facility here to then look on our database for all the thousands of bulls that we've got. So chances are you'll find him in there. So if it's one of your top 20, as I say, you can just click on the bull name. That's it in there, ready to go, and then we add event. So for this one, I'm actually going to do the thing. There we go, and you can see number of events to confirm 1. So then you would go through, so you just find the next cow, find the next event, and so on. So just as another example, I just want to show you also the sick category. So all of these events are recordable in any standard recording, to be honest, so you don't necessarily have to use herd companion. We can pick up milk fevers, for example, retain cleansing, DAs. All of that is standard on the Thor program now, so they can be entered by your recorder, or you could put them onto here, of course. So you can merrily click away and add all of your events on here, or a few at a time. Doesn't matter how you do it. When you then come back into here, there is another very important step that you need to do in order to apply it to NMR. So that isn't the end of the matter. I've got to confirm my events. So from here, I go to event confirmation, and you'll see that in the data entry menu as well. And you'll see then here, cow number 22, served today, process. So what you have to do, and you might have several cows on here, a long list of all events that you haven't confirmed yet. So as I say, you don't have to do it all in one session. You've then got to confirm events, so press that button, which I'm not going to do, and then it will ask you to accept, and then the screen will refresh, and that's it done. So if there is a problem with the event, it'll come up in the failure screen. But there's a certain amount of validation anyway, which will help you through. If you're trying to carve in a cow and she calved 2 days ago, for example, it will stop you in your tracks. And to see evidence of the events that you've sent in, then you can look at events sent. So as soon as we've confirmed, all being well, they'll go into the events sent. And then that will have a direct effect, as I say, on all of your action lists within Herd Companion at the time. If at this stage, like I'm about to do, we don't want to serve this cow, I've made a mistake, I can untick that one there, and then I could confirm the rest of my events, but it won't send that particular line. Once it has been confirmed and you've sent it through, and then you realise, actually, I didn't mean to do that to that particular cow, don't worry, you can talk to your recorder at the recording and get it deleted or changed, or you can always give us a ring if something needs editing. That's absolutely fine. Okay, so that's the data entry in principle. So you can do it in stages, and you can apply. So I've still got my event to confirm, it's just reminding me there. But yeah, just remember to confirm all of your events as they go in. So from there, we would then, you can also, in the sent box, actually, if I go back into here, we can check where we've got up to. So if you have done a few bits and pieces here and there, you can actually take your dates back and see what events you've put in previously. So where did you get up to? Now on this one, we haven't used this for a little while. So if I just go back to here, just so you can see an example. There we go. So back along in 2018, cow number 17, I recorded a heat. So it just gives you an idea of which animals you've placed in and where. And again, you can search if you've got a great big long list of animals, just search for a particular one. Did I put that service in for that cow type thing? The data entry is very much, as you see here, it's individual cow at the moment. If I just go back to this menu, you'll see we have got batch events here, these are grayed out. So this is to follow, where you'll be able to do batch data entry. And also we've got here grayed out as well enrolling animals. So any new animals that you've purchased, that's to follow as well. So for now, we can certainly do all of the main events for any cows that are already there. You can sell off cows as well. Any new ones, again, wait for your recorder or email them straight into NMR. And that, the other thing, yeah, so the editing as well, as I say, if you've got information that you wish to change, again, that would need to be done by somebody in the office or your recorder directly. Okay, so watch this space, that certainly will update itself in time. So the other area I wanted to concentrate on today was the drying off, the Selective Dry Cow Tool, which is under production and in here. Now this one is a sort of a separate page. You can see it's gone onto a new screen, and it's very much an overview of how your herd is doing. Just taking a minute to load there. And once this comes in, you'll know you've got the right one. It's bright yellow in colour, so probably not one you want to print off necessarily, or maybe in black and white. Just taking a little minute. Right, while that's thinking about it, what I'll do is I'll go on to the dry cow list, I think, or is it there now? Having talked around it, there we go. Right, so got there in the end. As I say, it's a separate report, so it probably takes a minute or two to load in. So here's your bright orange list. It's very handy, sort of 1 or 2 pages of A4, succinct information, and again, it includes bulk milk. So if you were listening in last week, we were showing you the overview of the milk quality monitor, which is the bulk milk information. So this replicates some of that, but concentrating on the cell count element. So in here, and it tells you for each section where the data is coming from. So this graph is from daily testing, bulk testing done through NML. You've got your average cell count, so again based on a bulk sample, and we've got then a time frame over the year to see how your trends are. You've then got percentage of the herd or results over 200,000, and then your cell count elements through there. Moving down, we then have individual cow information. So this one again gives you the direct source. So this is directly from milk recording, and there's a really important figure on this part of the graph, which is this one here, maximum lactation SCC less than 200. What on earth does that mean? Well, it's really crucial when you're looking at selective dry cow therapy. It's telling me 30% of my herd have not gone higher than 200,000 cells for their whole lactation. So a really powerful figure, and it allows you to then drill down. As you'll see in a moment, we can identify exactly which cows those are. But as a starting point, we know then that 30% of the herd we can apply with, teat sealant only, or whatever your strategies are for low cell count cows. The other graphs in here, then you can see the trend over time for across the dry period. So previous performance, where we've dried cows off high. So again, using our threshold 200. And that one is fixed for this report. So you can't change it, but you can elsewhere in Herd Companion. So high to high, we haven't cured any cows here. They're still high. That's at 10%. We've got low to low, so maintaining a healthy cow, 46. High to low is our cure rate, and then low to high, possibly sneaking infection in there across the dry period or fresh cow management. So useful bits of information to identify trends. And then as we go further down, we've got things then like mastitis cases. So again, these can all be recorded. Do give us your mastitis information. It then can be linked into everything else so much, and third parties will benefit from that directly as well. So trend over time, cases per 100 cows, and how many index cases are occurring, within the first 30 days. So those 3 sections so far are all part of the Selective Dry Cow Tool. So everybody recording with NMR will get those. The last section here is an extra bit. This is bulk samples tested quarterly. So this is a an extra service for mastitis pathogen breakdown, and you can ring NMR and book this in at any time because we keep your bulk samples for 7 days. So this identifies any bacteria present specifically to do with mastitis, and as it's done quarterly, then you get an idea of the prevalence changes on here as well. So we've got some nice examples there of what's happening. So from this one, now because this is opened up in a separate tab, I can just close that now and go back to her companion itself. So just from the last screen I was on, if we then go to iReports and then cows to dry off. And what I will say at this time, so with what we're about to discuss, please, do contact your advisor, your vet, your third party consultant to seek advice on what to do here, particularly if you are looking to change production figures, drying cows off early. Her companion is certainly your go-to for the information, but we can't advise you on what to do, but I do hope that this information on here will assist you with those decisions. Now, I should have checked this before. I haven't got anything to dry off in the next 30 days. That's our default picture for the cows to dry off list. We can extend this, which is a crucial part of it anyway. Let me just go a little bit mad with 100 cows because they're bulk or block calving now, so there may not be very many animals on here. There we go, we've got a few now. So that's the first bit, to be honest. Change your settings, so look further ahead in terms of who's due for drying off. So it may not be the next 30-day window. We might want to look at cows that aren't performing as well that we can dry off early. The other setting on here, we've got a high cell count threshold. So certain areas are fixed, but this one isn't. So you can change your threshold from 200. You can lower it down if you want to, and then this report will have a direct change as soon as you click the apply button. So there's quite a lot of information on here that can help you in a variety of ways. We've got our due dry date listed here anyway, and this is the order in which these cows appear. So if you want it in line number order, or any order for that matter, your sorting applies here just as it did, again, referring to my previous webinar, we looked at sorting and grouping on these different lists. So I can click on the line number header, and that will sort in numerical order. Wherever you see a cow number in blue, this means it's a link, so you can actually go into that cow record and look at it in a bit more detail. But what I want to sort by to start with is the cell count. So we've got cells here. And as you hover the mouse over these headers, if you need any prompting, it will tell you exactly what that column of data is. So this is our latest recording. This is the previous one before that. Sorry, voice is going, hang on. And then we've got our cell count -3, so that's the last recording as well. So the last 3 recordings are here. We've got the latest milk yield as well, days in milk of the cow, all important factors for looking at staler cows potentially. And the latest cells I've just sorted, we can see from the triangle, but this is in ascending order, and I want to go the other way around. So I'll click on it again, and then we've got our highest cell count cows at the top. Because my threshold is still at 200, I have anybody over 200 shown in red. And when it gets to 500, it goes into bold red, so you can see the effects there. So straight away, we've got some good contenders here. This cow, for example, she's got very high cell counts, starting to come down a bit, but still over my threshold. We can see the number of highs she's had throughout this lactation, 4 out of 6. And she's had 2 mastitis cases as well. She's a bit of a way off at calving. And equally as important, we've got our yoni status here. So it might be you want to factor that in, and again, talk to your vet, your advisor about, your yoni's positive cows, whether we can do something with those a little bit sooner than intended. So we've already got our cutoffs here, and you can actually then filter out. So at this moment in time, looking at this list, I've got 123 cows on it. I'm only looking at so many at a time. You can alter that with the page size down here, so you can turn it into one great big long list if you wish. And we've got the average for all of those cows on that list at the bottom. So if I wanted to filter, I could say, right, well, let's just concentrate on anybody above 200. So we type in 200 to our filter there. No data to display, that's quite normal because we're looking for exactly on 200. So use the key and then specify is greater than. And then we're just concentrating on all of those cows that were red over 200 at the last recording. And you could expand on that and have it, that they were over 200 at the last 3, if you want to be really specific, or a certain milk yield, greater than, less than, or certain days in milk. So you can combine all of the filters to get exactly the cows that you need. Now we've got some more interesting information that's highlighted certainly. So this cow here, the last 3 cell counts weren't brilliant. In fact, she's on her way up, but only 3 out of 19. So possibly, yeah, these 2 certainly were there. When was the last one, I wonder? So there's another bit of information we can bring in to really help us in terms of particularly selective dry cow therapy. How recent are these cell counts? Do we need to worry that she had a mastitis case, or was it 200 days ago? So at the top here, we've got show extra columns. And this is applicable to quite a lot of the reports on here, simply because they don't always fit on one screen sensibly. So we put a few extra ones in this box. So you can actually drag these across. So I want my days since high and maybe my days since mastitis as well. Equally, you can take things out of the existing one. So if you didn't need your group or you want to get rid of something, you can just drag it the other way into the box, and that hides it from your main screen. Any changes like this do get reverted back to their original state after you've finished. So in a way that's good, because then you can sort of play with your data, as it were, without breaking anything. It will just put it back as it was once you log out. So now we've got days since high here. Now for all of these cows, we have selected our high cell count cows, so that is going to be the fact that they were all high at the last recording. What about this one, days since mastitis? So as I said, you can use this as a really useful tool to see, particularly for the lower cell count cows. So let me get rid of this filter now. Just take that one out. It refreshes automatically. And if we look further down the page, let's go to 100. Okay, where we've got some borderline cases, so the top cows really are quite straightforward because we know they're high cell count cows more recently. We can apply certain strategies for them. It's more these borderline ones that we want to then look at in a bit more detail. So where the cell counts, for example, are hovering around 100, we've had 1 high cell count out of 7. And that occurred 237 days ago. So you can see then from all of the information put together, you've got a better idea of, whether a selective dry cow therapy teat sealant only approach would work in certain examples more so than others. So it really is a very useful tool for all of those bits of information, and particularly now, as I say, in terms of making other decisions about drying off cows, please do use this again with your advisor. Just to finish off then, and then we'll certainly go to questions, just to point you in the direction of the other action lists, which was part of the topics today. So you can link to those straight from here. You haven't got to go back up to the top menu. We've got cows due to calve. Works in a very similar way to the drying off list. Again, we haven't got anything to calve just at the minute, but you can set it exactly. The defaults are always 30 days on these. There we go. We've got our yoni status again on the end, so that's a really useful tool for treating calves in certain areas. And your due to calve date and by sire as well. So the other aspect of this is grouping. If you want to group by due calve date, if I just drag this button up, so just literally press and hold, drag your header up to the blue area. This gives you quite a nice calving pattern. Then we can see we've got 21 due in July, 84 in August, and so on. So you could go, as far out as you can in terms of pregnant cows, and then you've got an ideal calving pattern there looking ahead. And to undo that, as I say, you don't need to undo everything that you've set up, but we can just drag that back into the table anywhere, doesn't matter at all, and that will put it back to a normal list. The other aspects of these, printing out, now there isn't a print button listed particularly on every page, but if you're using Chrome or Edge, which is kind of the recommended browsers for this, in the top right corner of your browser, I just move my control panel a fraction. I suspect yours is hiding it as well. Top right corner, there is three dots as a button, and you'll see then the print option in the menu there. So that will print exactly as you see on screen. Okay, or what you can also do for any of these types of lists as well, you can export. So we can actually export that list, and you can see that's gone into my downloads folder as a spreadsheet, all formatted quite nicely. So you can save those as you go as well. So we've got 4 action lists here, cows due to serve and to PD as well. So they're all, as I say, similar formatting that give you the exact information you want on any given day. So just bringing it back to the data entry, as soon as you put that served cow in, she will appear on your cows to PD list, within the time constraints, of course, but it all works in real time quite well together. So I'm going to stop there. I will certainly cover the cell count analysis in a later webinar. We have got 3 more to go, and I can extend that, conscious that we're all kind of tied down a bit at the minute to our computers, so we can carry on with these webinars as long as there is interest for them. So that's absolutely fine. Right, so just bear with me a second. I'm going to pass over to my colleague Claire. There you go, Claire. Thank you.
Hi everybody. Thanks for listening. Thanks, Kath. That was brilliant. We don't actually seem to have any questions at the moment.
Oh.
Anybody that would like to ask a question, if you want to either raise your hand or type a question in. Oh, here we have one. Okay. Hi, Kath. You see, have no pathogen breakdown data.
Oh, on the Selective Dry Cow Tool, and you're expecting it? Yeah, give us a ring on that one. Is that from Dan? We can check that out, why it's not showing if you have actually ordered that particular service. So that's fine. I'm just making a note now of your name, and we'll look into that for you.
Our farm data shows no mastitis cases a month after last August.
Right. So again, if you're expecting
we record all mastitis on uniform.
Oh, okay. Ah, right. That's a clue there. So with uniform, if you have if you're not on the live link, and you'll know that from the dashboard, and we'll have set you up anyway, so you should be pretty much aware. If you're not on the live link and you're just sending the export to NMR every month to your recorder, or saving it onto a memory stick, that file doesn't contain mastitis and lameness cases, unfortunately. So what you or your recorder will need to do is go into the Mastitis Analysis page, and I can show you that very quickly. I know it's drifting off from her companion slightly, but it might be some other uniform users on here as well. Just very quickly, in your cow head, health and treatments, mastitis analysis, so 4.5, and then if you go to your grid button, you'll see your mastitis cases there. So that will certainly do in the short term in order to get those cases. It's literally just your recorder can just copy and paste that and or type them in directly, so we can't send those electronically. But the longer term solution will be to get you onto the live link, and then the mastitis and lameness will come in automatically with all the other events. Okay, hope that helps, but I'll make a note of your name again as well. Thank you.
Okay, we have somebody with their hand up. Just oh, Dan's question is on its way. He's got the hand up. Katie, I was just sending you a reply, but yes, you'll always get the recording after this is closed down. You'll get an email with the recording on it as well. Simon Martin Matthews has his hand up. I'll just unmute you a minute, Simon. I can't.
Oh, shall I try it? Hold on.
Yeah. Oh, he's self-muted. Let's go and see what his question is.
I think he's got a question anyway. Can young stock be added to animals due to calve? Now, on the actual cows due to calve list, as it suggested, is cows specifically. However, if I go back up, back up here, we've got our young stock list. So the young stock action list in with all the others. So that's just refreshing. and you'll be able to filter out your young stock due to calve by clicking on the to calve button. So as long as we've got PDs in there, you can see then these are all listed as pregnant, and they'll have a due date as well. So it is a separate list, but it works in a very similar way. So you will be able to access those from there. And so as long as we've got the PDs and services in from those heifers. Thank you.
Right. Can young stock be added to animals due to calve?
Yep, that's the one I've just done.
Just done, sorry. You showed us a page with individual cows resale count from previous recordings, not in a table format. Can you show us again how to get to that page, please? That was from Dan.
Right, individual cell counts. Oh, okay, Swift cell checker, that might have been from last time. So I reports and somatic cell count. Actually, no, I'm not sure that's the right one. Yes, it is. That was a good guess, wasn't it? Swift cell checker. It's also in the production. That's why I was a bit hesitant. Swift cell checker over here, exactly the same report. But yeah, this one. Now, when you first look at it, you've got the graph summary of your herd. The lower range is always set to 200. So if you want to see all cows on the list further down, change that to 0, apply, and then scroll down, and you've got your individual cows, just like your cell count report on paper. And yep, you can rank those, sort them, change the sort order as well. Hope that's what you were meaning, Dan.
From Fiona, who should a customer call if they have any questions when entering data?
Absolutely, customer services would be happy to hear from you, or software support. It's the same number. I'll leave it up on the end. I've got it on my last slide. But yeah, your main NMR number for anything like that.
Well, I can't see anybody new. Oh, wait a minute. I've got another hand up from Lukins. I'll just unmute you. HM Lukins and Son, you have a question? Obviously not.
No, I think there might have been an audio issue there.
Yes, I responded to them earlier on.
Right, I'll just get rid of some of these. Young stock we've done. Individual cell counts, yeah. Customer call.
Yeah,
Sent the recording. Yeah, we've done all these, haven't we? There's one from Katie on groups. How are groups broken down? Now that depends if you've got management groups on NMR anyway. Now this herd has. So where I've got, I think it was in the cows to dry off, wasn't it? We had group. It'll appear on a lot of the iReports. So if you've got specific management groups, they will be shown on your list. If not, they will all default to 0. And you can kind of group cows together through the grouping mechanism on the iReports anyway. But talk to your recorder if you want them set into management groups, and then they will appear on here as well. So you can then look at group 1, group 2 type thing. Okay.
I can't see any more. I think that might be. No, we have another question just come in.
Regarding previous webinars. So absolutely, I think what I'll do, we'll just keep an eye on the questions, but I'll just go through the rest of my slides because that's all relevant to what you're all asking. Where the other webinars are. So we had an excellent response to this one, and I've got a better list of people to email now, which is basically all of you guys that are listening in. But yes, any recordings, any webinars are always recorded, and they are now placed on the NMR website under the software header at the top, training, and then training webinars. So part 1 that we did last week, which covers the milk quality monitor and some Yonis testing and sort of a general walk around, that's part 1, that's on there. This one is recorded as well and will be on there as soon as we've done. We've got a YouTube channel also, if that's your preferred mechanism. You can search for National Milk Records, all one word, and that will appear. along with all the other videos that we do. So what I've also done, every time we do set one of these up, if you can register, that's the main thing. Just register anyway, even if you know there's no way I'm going to make it on this one. You'll always be emailed back after with a link to that recording, as well as it being on the website. And what I've also done now, I've incorporated the link to the next webinar in that email, so you'll be able to register further on for session 3 and so on. So I hope that all makes sense. And then just to finish off, really, there we go. So this is my next one next week. So trying to do this every Thursday at 1 o'clock. We've got Ingenious next week, which is the breeding tool to show you how you can rank your cows on breeding information. So there's another link there as well for registering. So again, if you go to software training dates, you'll be able to register from there. But as I say, we will send these to you directly. And any other feedback or questions, I'm on Twitter. You can email me, of course. And this is the number to ring. Anything related to your recording, if you need any help whatsoever with Herd Companion or any questions, then please do give us a ring. Any other questions?
Questions? No.
I think that's it, isn't it? Brilliant.
Yep.
Lovely. Well, thank you all very much for attending. I do hope to see you all again next week. Take care. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.